Americans held hostage behind enemy lines. Day 115.
Welcome to Hannity. It's hard to believe, right? 115 days, Biden's cowardice in Afghanistan is having a snowball effect all around the world. All of America's international foes, every hostile regime, they're all trying to take advantage of Joe and his obvious cognitive decline, his appeasement-centric policies, and frankly, sheer incompetence. He's turned the page, he tells us. Well, what about the families that he left behind that are in harm's way under Taliban rule? Now, this is particularly true on the border between Russia and Ukraine tonight, where hostile actor Vladimir Putin is now gearing up for a massive invasion. Nearly 100,000 Russian troops, including tanks and artillery, are already amassed at the border. Many are now fearing that an invasion could be imminent. And by the way, our intelligence feels that way as well. But don't worry, because today Joe Biden called up Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, and he gave him a really stern talking to. And here's how the call started. Take a look.
Приветствую вас, господин президент.
There you go. Hello.
Добрый день.
Good to see you again. Unfortunately, last time we didn't get to see one another at the G20. I hope next time we meet, we do it in person.
Hello. No doubt Vladimir Putin is shaking in his boots. According to the White House, Biden voiced his deep support when he finally turned on the microphone for Ukraine's sovereignty, and he vowed, quote, strong economic and other measures in the event of a military escalation. Now, get this. Biden's strategy reportedly includes reinstating sanctions on Russia's Nord Stream 2 pipeline into Germany. You can't make this up. Firing Keystone XL pipeline, energy workers, high-paying career jobs, and giving Putin an opportunity to get Russia rich again. A few months ago, Joe had lifted all sanctions on the very same pipeline, and he got nothing in exchange. He was trying to appease Vladimir Putin, the hostile actor, with all too predictable results. And here we go again. The administration is working on a plan to evacuate Americans from Ukraine, another unmitigated and preventable disaster. Now, thus far, Biden's international policy has been so terrible, even MSDNC's most devout liberal Democrat, Chucky Todd, is now sounding the alarm. Take a look.
Does the White House accept that they've been a little too passive with Putin?
Well, I think privately they accept that there have been some missteps when it comes to the foreign policy strategy here, whether that be with Afghanistan or with President Putin. Now, they haven't outright acknowledged that, for example, in their meeting in Geneva earlier, that the president wasn't tough enough. But I think the point stands. Here we go again. And what, if any, message is this sending to other potential foreign adversaries who are watching this quite closely? How does China, for example, view this?
Now, it's pretty weird because I remember only a few months ago when everyone in the mob and the media, they were out there lauding Biden's tremendous foreign policy credentials. In reality, Joe Biden has never, ever, ever been good at anything, and especially foreign policy. You might remember Obama's former defense secretary, Robert Gates, quote, Biden has been wrong on nearly every major foreign policy and national security issue over the past 4 decades. On the campaign trail and during the early months of the Biden White House, the press wing of the Democratic Party, in other words, the media mob, they covered up all of Biden's shortcomings and, of course, lied on his behalf, never asked tough questions. Now, with multiple Biden-caused crises here and home and abroad, some in the media, they're no longer able to avoid the shocking reality, which is one Biden failure after another. And needless to say, Joe Biden is not pleased. Now get this. According to the administration, the press is supposed to work hand in hand with the White House to make Joe look good. So in the past week, the White House has been holding private meetings with producers, anchors, reporters to, quote, reshape their coverage. No, they shouldn't be taking talking points from you at all. And right on cue, a Biden sycophant at the Washington Post published what is, in a lot of ways, a hilarious article. Quote, the media treats Biden as badly or worse than Trump. I don't know what world that person's living in. Now, Biden Chief of Staff Ron Klain, and he tweeted out the article. Now, Ron is living in an alternate universe that he himself is creating. This is the very definition. You don't get better, more sycophantic coverage. It's the entire media mob, print media. You have NBC, ABC, CBS, two news channels that say they're news that are really propaganda for the Democratic Party. Now, maybe the worst part of this, the press isn't even trying to hide it. You got one idiot over at Fake News CNN actually bragging about these strategy meetings with the White House on Twitter. Tonight, I do have some bad news for the mob and the media and the Biden White House. No amount of smoke and mirrors or dumb op-eds in the Washington Post is going to change the reality. The American people see this failure. As we speak, inflation, every American is feeling it firsthand, a 31-year high. And Americans are furious about the supply chain issues causing massive delays and shortages, and then get lectured and scolded about, oh, how we should have purchased our Christmas gifts by Halloween, or, oh, you're not going to get the color you want. Oh, the tragedy of the treadmill. They're embarrassed, they're humiliated by the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Most Americans don't like the idea of abandoning fellow Americans when you said you wouldn't do it. Most Americans are deeply worried about the crisis Joe created at the southern border. They don't like the preferential treatment. If you're an illegal immigrant, you don't get a COVID test. There's no vaccine mandate. But they are mandating vaccines for 5-year-olds if you want to take a 5-year-old kid to a New York City restaurant. And by the way, they're getting sick and tired, the American people, of being told that parents' input in schools is not wanted. They're tired of age-inappropriate material being taught and critical race theory and other anti-American propaganda force-fed into our kids' minds. They don't want Build Back Better, New Green Deal, radical Marxism, socialism to become the law of the land. The Democratic Party has lost its way. And guess what? You know who's helping them out the most right now? That would be Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, is once again, after promising again, he's bailing them out one more time. Despite promising not to help the Democrats raise the debt ceiling again, he has been collaborating with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi on a plan that would allow Democrats to raise the debt ceiling on their own, supposedly, thereby giving them more time to pass Build Back Better, New Green Deal socialism. He's doing it by creating a new rule the Senate never had before. We'll see if he can get 9 more Republicans to go along with this insanity. In doing so, McConnell is throwing his fellow Republicans under the bus. He's giving his Democratic colleagues a much-needed lifeline. They're not including the Republicans in any way in any budget talks. It's totally unacceptable. Mitch McConnell needs to go. He's not a leader. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.